Welcome to the Professionalist Real Estate Investing Podcast with your host, Tony Jacobs. This podcast is not just about making money. It's about creating a legacy that stands the test of time. From analyzing market trends to mastering negotiation skills, we will leave no stone unturned as we guide you through different stages of real estate investing. We will bring on industry leaders and share stories from the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. So now, it's time to level up your real estate game. And there's no better way to do it than right here with us at the Professionalist Real Estate Investing Podcast.
Hey, Tony, how's it going?
Mr. Rob, what's good? I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man.
I know you. Hopefully you're feeling way better. I mean, we've been absent for a while because, you were sick and everything, and I'm glad everything's gotten better.
Yeah, definitely. Between me being sick and taking care of my wife after her surgery, things were a little rough there, but we're getting back to it, that's for sure.
Exactly.
Nothing's going to hold us back. It's just going to slow us down for a second.
Amen. Yeah, so today we're going to have a little discussion about commercial real estate. So the difference between commercial real estate and residential. A lot of people need to know also like what goes on between both. So with residential real estate, residential lending is focused on an underwriting of the borrower. So that goes with your credit, a whole bunch of variations, but it more or less goes on your credit, how much your interest rate is going to be to purchasing the home. But with commercial, the underwriting is focused more on the property for the net operating costs, the cap rate. There's a whole bunch of variances that goes with the commercial. So those are a little bit of the difference between both of them. But when it comes to the commercial side, there's all different types of commercial lenders, from banks such as the national banks, community banks, credit unions, commercial mortgage-backed securities, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and HUD. Those are also some lenders that also deal with commercial real estate. And then there's also types of commercial properties also. The one a lot of people deal with is retail, malls, retail shops, mom and pop stores. Second would be industrial, warehousing,
like processing plants.
Yes.
Things like that.
Yes. That's going to fall in the lines of commercial properties. Office space, that's huge. Multifamily, those are the buildings with 4 units or more. So actually, when it comes to multifamily, it is actually 5 or more. So with your loan, say if you get a commercial, 5 and above is commercial status. But between 1 and 4, that's residential. A lot of people don't know about that, but that's a little hidden gem when it comes to from what's structuring from residential to commercial.
So if I wanted to become an investor and I wanted to go buy a quadplex, say, then it's going to be very tough as compared to if I wanted to go buy a quintplex,
Yes, exactly. And then other commercial properties also include car washes. Another big one that has come lately in the past couple of years is self-storage.
Oh, yeah.
Self-storage is a huge one because there really is no huge overhead. So you have to think storage spaces for people who move out or they want to downsize and they want to put their belongings in a self-storage. And that's a good one. Another one, too, that a lot of people don't really think about, it's like kind of out of sight, out of mind, is parking lots, parking garages. That's just like I tell everyone, the individual, what's his name, that played Malcolm in the Middle? That is one of his big things.
Frankie Muniz.
Yes, that's one of his big things is parking spaces. And he brings in a lot of generational wealth doing it.
Oh, I bet he does.
Yeah, so those are the different types of commercial properties that people can invest in. But what lenders look for in the size of loan for commercial properties is what type of property is one. The second one is the size of the loan. How much of a loan do they need for the deal to happen about? Third, and I feel that this third is actually number one to me, is location. Location of property is huge. Number 4 would be value of property. And number 5 would be loan to value. And so when it comes to commercial real estate, and also when it comes to investing, any type of investing, even if it's residential, if it's commercial, there's always a risk. So you have to choose wisely as to what you want to do. You need to know what your goal, what your plans are, to know about how to go about purchasing these properties. At the end of the day, you want to know exactly where you want done with this in the future, because in the real estate game itself, it's all about longevity. It's not a get rich quick scheme. So people need to understand that. So we're just giving people genuine advice to watch out for, what to look out for. We're not like professionals at this, but we have studied and we know a few things here and there.
That's right.
So whatever you do, make sure, like I said, make sure you know why you're purchasing the property, what's your end goal. And a lot of people use real estate, as I said, they use it for generational wealth. They use it for deleting their 9-to-5 job. Like if they have enough capital coming in, there's no need for them to work. So real estate can go a long ways. As you can tell, like even like the situation right now that's going on with the banks here in the United States, like people are really freaking out about our structure of our banks, what's going on. But do you think really people are freaking out with the situation with real estate? No. If anything, since COVID in the past 3 years, rent has gone up tremendously everywhere.
So actually, if we're going to get onto that subject, that's something that I wanted to talk to you about. Have you seen these people outside of the grocery stores lately?
I actually have.
Have you signed any of those petitions? I looked at one of them the other day. I looked them up and down. I thought, man, you scrub, get out of my face. And I had to have a conversation about how, yeah, rent control is good for the tenants, but that's not good for everybody.
No, it's not.
So I understand that at a certain point things are going to get out of control, but that's not necessarily the way that you deal with things. No. There are already laws in place in California where a landlord can only raise the rent 10% annually.
Exactly.
So it's not like things could get that out of control anyways. If you have a $2,500 a month rent, like some people we know, you can go up $250 a year.
Yes.
You know, and then after that, $275. You know, and obviously, like everything else, it's going to grow exponentially over time. But in the world that we live in, you need to take that into account, and you need to not jump into something that's going to get you underwater. Another conversation that we've had recently was about people that end up with large sums of money from things like the lottery.
Yes.
And what do you end up doing with that? You want a home. You want stability in your life. And if you've grown up poor, you want that McMansion. But the problem with that McMansion is that it's going to cost you more in property taxes every year than you can actually pay.
And that and maintenance.
And people always end up putting themselves into bad situations because they don't think ahead.
Exactly. They go with what feels right at that time.
That's it. So you need to really, if you're going to become a real estate investor, really pay attention to what you want, how you want to structure your investment portfolio, and what type of taxes you want to pay.
Exactly. Because that's definitely a good episode for us too, is definitely with the taxes. Because the reason why I say about that is that's a whole nother chapter, is because a lot of people think that with taxes, the wealthy, there's a cheat code. There is no cheat code when it comes to taxes. There's a blueprint, but there's not a cheat code because everybody can read the tax structure. You may not understand every single word, but there's people out there. There's CPAs who know exactly how to go about for a person to lower their taxes. The main engine that helps them lower their taxes is real estate. The government gives them that availability, if they have the money and the resources to purchase real estate, that they can counteract their taxes.
And to be fair, if this podcast in and of itself proves nothing else at all, it's the 2020s. You have Google. If you don't understand something, you can always look it up. You can figure it out through Google and creativity. Nothing is impossible.
Exactly. We have everything. This is 2023. We have everything very accessible to us than any other time in the history of man. In the history of man, there is no excuses.
No, none at all. Ignorance is a choice at this point.
Yes, exactly. I'm with you there. Yeah, but especially when, like we said, was talking about rents, and I wanted to bring another thing when it came to rent is that the generation that's, I can't remember which generation it is. It's the latest generation.
Gen Z?
It is Gen Z. If you think about it, a lot of them don't want to buy homes. They don't want the responsibility to buy homes. What they want to do is rent. And it's already been established that a lot of them in this Gen Z generation, that's all they want to do is rent. A lot of them can't even afford to buy because everything is skyrocketed so high.
So that's what I was going to say was, without giving too much away, we are separate generations.
Yes.
Right? And so I have friends that are Zoomers. And honestly, like for my generation and the younger generations, it's sad, dude, but the American dream's about dead. That whole idea of going out and buying a home and having 2.5 kids and a wife that stays home all day and you guys have 2 cars and, you know, a nice lawn and all that stuff is about dead.
Exactly.
So that's why this hustle culture is coming up so strong. That's why there's been the great migration away from the 9-to-5 jobs. That's why these big corporations are having the issues that they're having now. That's why Walmart is having to shut stores down because of theft. Walmart is not hurting because of some $600,000 a year that they're being stolen from.
No.
At all. Not at all. They're hurting because they can't get people to come in there and be slaves anymore.
Yes.
It's like a great awakening.
Yes. And then I always, if anyone hears me all the time, I always talk about COVID. COVID changed everything about the world. The way we think, the way we do things. It changed the mentality. It changed my mentality in so much and so many different levels. It's the way everything. Where in the history of time have you ever seen the world completely shut down? For illustration, I remember the one time where there was a photo of a gentleman and he was standing on his rooftop and he was never ever able to see the Himalayas completely like clear. Well, when the world was shut down and none of the factories are running, he was able to see the mountains so clear. Why? Because while we was inside, the earth was healing.
That's right.
That's why animals, bears, coyotes, that was why they were migrating into the towns, into cities, because they weren't hearing that noise. Because in the wilderness,
right,
you don't hear much noise. If you do, you hear, somebody stepping on sticks and leaves and everything. They weren't hearing any of that. So they were migrating out of their limits. Why? Because we were shut down.
Right.
So even people's way of thinking, you got to think how many people from 3 years ago to now have turned into entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
have started investing, have started their own companies, have done their own LLCs, have done multifamilies, even homes, an abundance of homes. People's thinking has changed so much, especially from COVID to now, that people are changing. Because like I said, there's so many different avenues. You can Google. We have information. We have the internet. The internet changed the world.
Yeah.
Just like me and you was talking about the AI stuff. That's changing the world to this very day.
Yes, it is.
So in a way, it's not like keeping up with the Joneses, but we have to adapt. We have to adapt to what's going on.
Most
whatever resources that we have. And especially when it comes to, you got to think, in the 70s, when people were buying homes and everything, they couldn't go on Zillow.
No.
They couldn't go on the Zillow at all and be like, okay, I think my house is worth this, even though it's not the most credible numbers.
No, they'd look in the nickel.
Yeah, right, exactly. Exactly. Get the nickel every week.
Right.
And like, hold on, who should I talk to? And open up the Bible book of Yellow Pages.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I'm going to go with real estate agent 14.
Yes. So I know we got a couple of things more to do here in the studio, but eventually we're going to have people who are doing these things, who are investing, who are bettering themselves, who want to show people that this can be done in real estate. Real estate is the major platform. What's the two expressions? God's not making any more dirt, and God's not making any more land.
That's it. In fact, if you pay attention to weather patterns, it looks like he's taking it away.
Yes. Yes, indeed. So, yeah. So I would invite anybody to please subscribe to our podcast and
tell a friend.
Yes. We have a lot of great information. We're gathering together to for everyone easily to understand. And knowledge is power. Knowledge goes a long ways. Like, I'm still learning to this very day. I was learning about, like we talked before we started about business credit. There was just like hidden gems, and you was like, hold on, you was getting excited. And like, trust me, I learned so much. I sit in my office and I just listen and listen and listen. And I listen to credible people, and I still Google, or I still do my homework as to make sure that what they're speaking about is the truth. But a lot of people don't do that. I think it's like the quick, I know what I'm doing, quick justification. But me, I like to, if I'm telling somebody, I want to let them know that I know this 100%. So I want them to feel comfortable around me too.
Well, always check what I say.
Exactly.
Because I'm going to do my very best to be honest and to be truthful, to just give you facts. But, I'm a human and I'm going to make mistakes. So always check what I say.
Yes.
So that being said, you guys have a great evening. Thanks for listening to our podcast, and you'll be hearing from us again soon.
Yes, sir.